Happy Tuesday. It's like 2:22 a.m. and it's a beautiful day to be alive. So first, there's several things I'm going to cover here today. One, I just want to give a acknowledgement to those fine individuals that have felt compelled to share with me in their comments about me using a microwave. And so I get it, and I thank you. Your concerns and your thoughtfulness is well received. So I want to just acknowledge that. And now I've been eating again as I broke my fast, and so some things have come up really quickly for me in comprehension, things that I'm understanding so much clearer now. Now in man's higher consciousness, Hilton Holtmus makes a reference, and it's from some other source, but the reference is that we eat to live and we eat to die. We drink to live, we drink to die, and we breathe to live and we breathe to die. Now, I've reread this book. I think I'm on my fifth time I've reread this book, and it finally hit me. I finally got it, because I thought that's, it's just such a interesting analogy or whatever. And so I looked at that deeper, and I realized last night, it almost came to me in a dream, I think, that we eat to live. That is the psychological. And we eat to die is the physiological. And it finally hit me. That's what it means. We somehow think in our mind that we need to eat to live. But physiologically, it's just not true. Our body was created by a living cell, a single living cell that generates and regenerates and recreates and recreates. And that's what our bodies are, is just a makeup of living cells. Now, food does have nothing, zero, nothing to do with feeding cells, nothing. Cells are self-generating, and they rely totally upon themselves in a cosmic force to generate and regenerate. Now, the problem that we have on the physiological level is, with the eating, okay, the consumption is just the first part of the problem. The biggest part of the problem is the elimination. Now, I really get this because I had to get up a couple of times during the night for elimination purposes. I had to let that shit go. But more importantly is that when I was fasting, as I fast, and I'm going to get back to my fasting, each time I go back to eating, whatever that is, I'm going to make them shorter and shorter time frames and go back to fasting, because one of the things I experienced while fasting is the real sheer pleasure of having no bowel movements. That shit was gone. And, although I was still detoxing, cleansing, doing enemas, there was still things in there. The insatiable desire to have to go shit was gone. So that was really a powerful awakening. And now I'm getting it. I'm getting it more and more. See, the body constantly regenerates itself. The living cell just constantly regenerates itself. But because it's regenerating, it also is dying. There's dying cells. Now, when you consider how many poisons and toxic energies that we have consumed, not just basically in our food and water and the beverages we drink, but in the air we breathe, we also, on top of that, have dead cells that need to be eliminated. So our body is in a constant process, And the biggest problem is elimination, how to get these toxins out of your body. So that's where the urine therapy is so powerful. By using urine therapy, both in both ways, into putting it in a oral and drinking, as well as anal and enemas, it helps expedite. It helps eliminate. Now, this never goes away, never, because even if you're just a breatharian, you're still breathing bad air and the cells are dying. And there needs to be a toxic release, an elimination process. So I'm working towards that. Now I look at the general society at large, and they are large. We live in a large society. And the biggest problem that people have is elimination. That's why there's so many products out there to deal with it. With acid reflux, with heartburn, with bowel movements and hemorrhoids, and heart disease, and you name it, the hardening of the arteries, the hardening of the joints. All of this stuff happens because of what we consume. Our body is completely calcified, and unless we do something about it, we're surely going to die sooner. We're just killing ourselves. So it made perfect sense to me. Like I said last night, I've read this book 5 times. I've seen this thing, and it repeats itself. That phrase repeats itself throughout the book. We eat to live, we eat to die. And it really is clear to me now. And so if you really, really are interested in having optimum health, you can do it by drinking distilled water. That's also been proven. But you also have to have distilled water. And if you don't have distilled water at your disposal, you can do it with urine. And that is the beauty. This is God's gift, you see. This all lives within us. The cure lives within us. And that's so beautiful, because we are perfectly designed. Perfectly. And the only thing that messed us up is our habits. And those habits have been developed over a long, long time. And it takes a lot to undo. Even if you just stop, if you stop eating and stop drinking, which I'm working on. I haven't done that. I'm doing that. I'm working on that. There's still so much junk in my system. I can taste it in my urine. I can see it in my bowels. I can see it in my enemas. I can see it. It's even it's showing up on my skin after fasting all this time, where I get little blemishes and stuff, and I know that's all toxic release. The body is just detoxifying. So I want you to really consider all this as a part of your health regimen. Every time you put something in your mouth, really give it consideration, because by design, the body really does not need it. Cells do not need food. Cells do not generate from food. And the biggest problem you have by putting things in your mouth is how to eliminate them from your body. It's just the way it works. So there it is. Yesterday I wrote another poem, and I'm going to share it with you this morning. And this one I entitled The Cure Lives Within Us. And here it goes. What are your ailments? Are you seeking a cure? Are your given treatments getting you pure? Most remedies relieve us, but that doesn't matter. Masking the symptoms when the cure is in your bladder. The poisons we consume are always there. It's in our food and water and air. Some we control. No need to assume. It's simply based on what you consume. If you don't feel good, do you know why? Or do you pop a pill and hope you don't die? The cure lives within us. Just look and see. It's really quite simple. Just start drinking your pee. It is. It's really simple like that. Anyway, I really do hope you all have a beautiful, wonderful, marvelous day. And, peace and love to you. And boom, haha, you've just been loved.